Hey everybody, welcome back to the program Stoned Out. This week's guest is Pedalay the Boss. This guy is an amazing artist, and I had a great conversation with him about how he got into music, how he writes music, how he listens to music, where he draws his inspiration, um, all over the board. You know, uh, this guy listened to his album called The Indica Tapes. An amazing album, and I'm still listening to it. Uh, this gentleman here, really inspiring if you want to get into the music industry. Really inspiring, and a lot of fun to talk with him. Uh, just to see how he thinks and just to hear how he thinks and just to talk about it. It was just an amazing episode all the way around. Um, this podcast has given me the ability to meet awesome people and continuing to meet awesome people. And this episode, ladies and gentlemen, with the guest, Pedalay the Boss. I'll see you all on the next one.
Come away for a year and a day to a place where the sand meets the sea. For your worries, they will fade when you sleep under the shade of the marvelous cannabis tree. Do you ever really want to be free? Sometimes life gets the best of me. We're all waiting for the moment to come. Don't come alone. Well, it's all we ever wanted to be. Paint your picture, you can make anything. We're all waiting for the moment to shine. Don't come alone. I gotta find this place, gotta get away. I can see myself spending all my days, wasting all my time lying in the shade with you. Come away for a year and a day.
Part of my life. So
Absolutely. It makes a big difference when you got a good core around you.
it does. It really does.
So I just want to start by saying I really enjoy your music. I've been checking it out this past couple days, and the Indica Tapes I think is a favorite album of mine.
I greatly appreciate you, man. Oh man, thank you for
And
your time, your ears.
and I first want to start out by asking, where did you get the inspiration to start making music and start recording?
Okay. I've been making music since I was a little kid. I'm almost 40 now, so a little older, but I've been making music since I was like 8 years old. So I mean, the inspiration came from just being around hip hop and being in the environment I was in, things like that. Um, I think the first tape that I actually had was Crisscross, Totally Crossed Out. My dad's girlfriend at the time bought it, and I pretty much took it and ran with it from that point on. I never put that tape down. And I remember having arguments with my dad, like, this guy says this and this guy saying that, and one day I'm gonna be the guy saying this, and so yeah, so probably Crisscross was the inspiration.
Mm-hmm. um, and a big thing for me is where you find your inspiration and how you keep going, and when you say, okay, where's the next step? And my next question would be is when did you first write? When was your first song? What was the first song you wrote? Sorry.
Okay. Oh man, first song I wrote. Funny story. I used to write. So when I like around the Crisscross days, I used to write. Once I realized I had a talent, I used to write for my friends, and I used to make them, the guys that were around, like, hey, we're gonna be a rap group. Like, no matter what you guys are doing today, this is the plan today. We're gonna rap. So I used to write songs for. It was me and my little brother. And we had two other friends that would be around us. They would come over our house and stuff like that. So I can't necessarily remember the titles of any of those songs, but those were the first bit of pieces of work that I had written. I remember writing everybody's part and trying to tell everybody, okay, this is how you say this. You're going to say it like this. You're going to do it like this. You're going to do it like that. And so, I remember very early those being my first bit of songs there.
Mm-hmm. Um, how long did it take you to write your first record?
Professionally, or once I started recording music,
Or just when
as
you
my craft.
sat down and said, "Okay, this is the completed record, and this is what I want to go with."
Uh, it in the past it probably took me a while.
Mm-hmm.
It used to take me a few days actually. I would have books. I I speak past tense because I no longer write. I no longer physically write. But when I did used to write, it used to take me quite a bit of time. Especially when I first started, maybe a day or so. I would go back, rehearse, go back, rehearse, go back, rehearse, just to make sure I had all the lines down pat. And then from there, I would be ready to record.
Mm-hmm.
We at that time we were like a Wu-Tang type of crew, so we're like 90 of us, and so I would try to write faster so I could be one of the first to record,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean it would still take me a couple of days.
Mm-hmm. How when did you record your first album? Like sit down in a recording studio?
The first album was called The Omen,
Okay.
after the movie, named after the movie. That when I was a kid, for some reason, I really took a liking to that movie, and so the first album was The Omen. Around this time, like I'm mentioning, we had this big old giant crew, and so I was trying to. I wasn't the leader of the crew at the time, but I was somebody that a lot of the crew members looked up to, and so just trying to get everything professional and meet deadlines and show them how recording should sound, so it sounds pro and not so amateur and things like that was everything we were trying to get through. And I want to say it was around maybe 4 or
Wow.
5 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, around 2004 or 5 is when I wrote that about Omen.
Nice. Nice. Now, I was listening the marijuana remix. I loved it. I absolutely it was like a nice song. I could just sit back, light up a nice fat joint and just chill the entire evening. And where did you get your inspiration for the Indica tapes? I could probably guess,
Oh.
but I do want to ask.
um, so currently right now, I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. Here in Las Vegas, Nevada,
Oh, nice.
obviously, yes. So obviously, marijuana is recreational.
Mhm.
So I'm actually in the cannabis industry a bit, and so
What do you do in the cannabis
while
industry?
I was a bud tender for a while, and
Oh, really?
I'm actually a contractor as well. So I mean, I can take any business that I'm doing right now and go to any dispensary and do business within the dispensary.
Oh, wow. Have you been to
hmm
Colorado?
I have. We performed at the Roxy Theater once.
Oh, really?
hmm
Nice. Now, do you still perform and still get on, still do shows? Have you
I want to say yes.
and have you done any shows lately?
That's where I want to say no.
Okay.
Ever since COVID started, I haven't done any shows since COVID, and then after COVID, I guess ended. I opened up my booking, but I've still been relatively busy, so I've not really been able to get out and about and tour like I used to.
Mm-hmm. Now, when did you start touring?
I want to say maybe about 2000, maybe 2012, maybe 2012, 2013.
And what states have you been to? I'm very interested in knowing that.
Oh yeah, of course. I've been to New York. I've been to
Wow.
Denver, or Colorado rather, because I was all over Colorado. We were in Thornton. I went to Denver. Um, there was in 2 other areas too in Denver or Colorado, but up and down California. I'm from Southern California actually, so we
Mm-hmm.
used to do a lot of shows in California around the beach areas, Dana Point, Huntington Beach, around that area. I've done some shows in Long Beach, Hollywood. I performed at the Celebrity Center in Hollywood. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We just try to go wherever we can get booked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
we've been. quite a few places.
What would have been your favorite place to or your favorite state to perform in
Actually,
so
Colorado
far?
was my favorite. Colorado was absolutely my favorite. Such a beautiful state. It was actually Cannabis Cup weekend that we were performing, so I mean, it was just
Oh,
amazing, an
nice.
amazing time. We caught a free show of Method Man and Redman downtown. Like I guess Denver out in Colorado, they had downtown blocked off, and they had a big stage up there. And Cypress Hill, Method Man and Redman were there. Snoop Dogg was there, so it
That's
was an amazing
awesome.
time.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, Another thing, how long do you, or when do you plan on releasing another record?
I actually plan on releasing one right after the summer ends. It's called
Okay.
Voodoo.
Voodoo. Okay.
Voodoo. It's kind of a remake of an earlier project that I worked on was entitled Voodoo, and it was more before I was more professional. And so now that I'm more professional, I want to officially release Voodoo.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to hear it.
Thank you, thank you. And
Um,
then we're
Go.
gonna put the Sativa tape out, like probably closer to the end of the year.
Yes. Indica's my favorite strand, and I do like my
There you
sativas
go.
too. But I when I saw the Indica tapes, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna listen to that." That was a good album.
Thank you.
Um, do you have songs or records that you're still working on since you started creating music?
I do.
That is just like it's not there yet.
I do. Quite a few songs like that. Hence, kind of why I'm re-releasing Voodoo that way as well. There's some music that I feel time hasn't been prepared properly for it yet. I'm not the type of person. I'm not the type of person that just puts music out because I'm finished with it.
Mm-hmm.
I like to work on things. I like to perfect things. I like things to be on point, and also I like it to be the right time. Timing has to be perfect, and so I try to make timeless music. I try not to time stamp my music with lyrics or say things that are kind of now or current, so that if I am going to release it later, I'm able to because there's no actual time stamp on it.
Mm-hmm. Going to beats now. The what is it? The intro to Tale of the Kings. Tale of the Kings
Uh,
intro. That that melody was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I loved it. When I first started hearing that, I was just like, "Oh my god!" It rang to my ears. Do you have any more intros like that coming up?
Actually, for the
Uh,
majority of my projects, my intros are like that.
and I apologize
Um,
if I botched that title.
no, no, you're all good. It's a King's Tale, but it's
A
all good.
King's Tale. I am so sorry about that.
It's all good. No, I on my mixtape. That's actually where I started that at. I'm a humongous fan of classical music,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I kind of wanted my audience to know that without telling them that. And so when I do mixtapes, the intros are always a classic piece.
Mm-hmm.
Always a classic piece. I've done the Death March. I've done Moonlight Sonata. They're just a bunch that are favorites to me. And so when I do a project, I like to, open my world that way. And so with issue number 2 being an album, I don't normally do that on albums, but this album took me 10 years to put out.
Oh
And
wow.
so right, because like I explained, I wanted to work on it. I wanted to perfect it, and so it took me 10 years to put out.
Mm-hmm.
And the intro was actually the last piece of work that I put onto there, and I did it because I said, you know what, it's time for my mixtape listeners to become my album listeners as well,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how we're going to start it. The people who listen to my mixtapes know how I start them off, and so hopefully once they're listening to issue number 2, they're like, man, he did that, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
man, okay, we're gonna stick with it still, because hopefully they agree with that move.
Mm-hmm. Now I was listening to "Money Over Everything" and "Like This" to those two tracks, and love the beats on those too. And
Thank you.
I want to ask, where do you come up with your beats, or is it just like you kind of hum things to yourself and just roll with it, or is it just you hear, I don't know, birds chirping or cars going by and you just hear a beat in it?
My cousin is the producer for those two particular songs,
Mm-hmm.
"Money Over Everything" and "Like This." And so my cousin is a very peculiar character.
Mm-hmm.
I love him with all my heart, but he's very peculiar. He'll admit this too, and this is why I'm comfortable saying this. He's so peculiar. He will come around. He'll come drop a crap ton of beats on me. He'll
Mm-hmm.
be excited with me. He's like, "We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that," and then this man will disappear for like 5 years. It's crazy. So
That is
yeah,
peculiar.
it's very peculiar, man. He admits to it these days. Nowadays, he admits to it. The last beats he dropped off were um, a couple of songs on issue number 2. I want "Praying on My Downfall" and a couple other songs on there, and then I haven't seen him since. And so,
Mm-hmm.
and so, at that time, I knew this is before he started admitting it. I knew he was going to disappear soon,
Yeah.
and so I just had to get these songs done fast. And so, when I write to the snare and the melody.
Okay.
And so I if you listen to like my wordplay or the pattern of my words, you'll kind of catch the pattern in the melody, or maybe you'll hear a snare drop with the pattern. And so when I heard those beats, especially "Money Over Everything" and "Like This," I just had to come up with something to make him proud, to try to keep him around, because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want him to go away again.
Has
But
he
no,
told you why
he
he
went away.
just has he told you why he just drops in and be gone for 5 years?
He doesn't. He makes jokes about it though. You know,
Hmm.
he doesn't necessarily have an explanation for it, but he'll say something like, how we're in conversation. He'll say, "Because I'm getting ready to leave again, so we got to do this
Yeah.
today." So I won't see him for a while. Though. So, and I mean, at all, I will text him, call him, social media him. I will not see him at all. We don't live in the same city or state anymore, so I can't just pop up on him. But no, he'll be back soon. He'll be back around soon.
um. So with your next album, where did you find your inspiration for it?
For the next album, my next actual album is going to be issue number 3.
Okay.
Um, Basically, I'm a humongous comic book fan, and so
What kind of comic
my
books you like?
I love all comics, particularly Hulk comics. I love Spider-Man comics, Batman comics,
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine comics. I have an onslaught of Wolverine comics. I'm a big Marvel fan, but I mean, I love everything. Spawn, uh, Ninja Turtles. I mean, I absolutely love everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
and so my albums are actually titled my name, just like a comic book. Like it would be Wolverine, it's Pedalay, and then issue number 1.
Okay.
Pedalay issue number 2. So the next one is Pedalay issue number 3.
Okay.
And so that's just generally where the inspiration of that comes from. When I started, I want to say I set out to only do 4 issues, kind of like a special series. So right now I'm on 3. It won't take me 10 years to put out 3 because I want to get to 40. I want to get to 4 before I'm 45. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So
working on it.
so the next album, it was comic books is where you were finding your inspiration.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. All right.
Hmm.
Um, so going back to the Indica tapes, uh, did you sit around with your group and say, "Hey, I want to write this about Indica," or did you have a specific title in mind for that?
No, yeah, I came up with indica and sativa because
Because marijuana is awesome.
basically it's so awesome, man. It's the best
It
thing
is.
around. I'm trying to
It
tell you,
is.
it is.
I tell you what, if
Uh,
they made it federally legal, the pharmaceutical companies would go out of business.
Gone because it's going to heal it all.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. No,
Absolutely.
it's when I was working for a particular dispensary here, there was a company that came in, and I loved the way that the company packaged their 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 content.
Mm-hmm.
They did it color coded. They would do green for hybrid. They had red for sativa, and then they had purple for indica.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, man, you know what? That's the next bit of music we're gonna do. We're gonna categorize it like that. I thought about it a little deeper, but I didn't really want to work this hard, so I didn't do it like this. But I even thought about to put each one on each service. So Indica was actually only going to come out on Apple Music, and
Mm-hmm.
Sativa, when I was done with it, was only going to come out on Spotify, and then Hybrid was only going to come out on Tidal.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided to share it all with everybody. One of my best friends in the world, Scatterbrain, he's a producer, he's an MC and producer. He's from my hometown, San Diego, California, but he lives in New York now. We got together. We haven't worked together in years, almost a decade plus.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got together. We've been sending music back and forth to each other from Vegas to New York, New York to Vegas. And once I came up with the idea of the color category, I can't even say it, color categorization. I threw it to him, and he was like, "Man, let's do it." So what we did was we took I want to say 6, 7 of my popular songs that I have already out.
Mm-hmm.
He took those. I did some re-recording on some of them, and he remixed them. He completely remixed the songs all the way, and then he gave them back to me, and I was like, yes, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And so we turned Indica and Sativa into two remix projects. So
Mm-hmm.
all of the songs, minus Marijuana, are remixes to songs that I have out already. Not all on the same album though. These are pieces from each of my projects.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll find one on a mixtape, or you'll find one on an actual album, one on issue number one on issue number two. You'll find another song on Art the Inspiration or Art the Masterpiece or on Hydra. So it was to see how many of my followers are actually know my work,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why I put it out like that. Marijuana was actually the only original track on that project, but we just called it a remix because there was another beat. There was another beat to it, but I never recorded that version of it. When I recorded it, it was this final version you hear.
Mm-hmm. So with the music industry, well, with comedy, it's like a LA or it's a California or a New York scene. Is it the same with the music industry?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hit or miss. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a California thing, definitely a New York thing. Vegas, you would think, is a big music place. It's a big catch-22 there. They don't allow a lot of music in a lot of places, especially on the strip or near the casinos. A lot of hip hop rather, near the strip, and so you
That's
have to really
interesting.
find. It's very interesting, but I mean, I think they have this assumption that hip hop brings a particular type of crowd, and so
Mm-hmm.
they try to keep it away unless you're an established artist, who has millions and millions of streams, and you're gonna bring um, that type of business to that area. They're not
Mm-hmm.
really all for it. So you find little jewels out here, like in the art district, they have some events that go on every so often, like the jam. I love the jam. I just show up to the jam just to support. It reminds me of something back home, so I show up to the jam to support.
Mm-hmm.
But it relatively is like you're saying. It pretty much is those main staples as the go tos for the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's California, New York, um, more south. There's some South Texas, Atlanta, Memphis areas like that are on the rise and accepting and producing a lot more music nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you have those areas as well. But yeah, and it's a very scarce thing.
Mm-hmm. Have you performed in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I've definitely performed out here before. I performed here several times. One time was at a hotel pool, but it wasn't on the strip. It was more downtown Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They did like a spring, like an MTV Bling type of thing, but it was more of a independent type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had a bunch of artists performing around the pool. I did that there. I have even performed at the Jam before, just because I absolutely love it. When I first got here to Las Vegas, the Jam was one of the first things I actually performed at here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So what?
and so I've done a few shows here.
So what brought you out to Vegas?
It's just a different city. Cost of living is cheaper, especially. So that's the number one reason. I got some sort of a semi big family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of like a 7, 8 person family. Not no, those aren't all my kids, but I'm a 8-person family for the most part. I have brothers, my mother,
Mm-hmm.
my kids, my lady, everybody. So cost of living is relatively cheaper here. On top of that, my dad's been here for a while, and he was kind of getting in my ear to relocate, be closer to him, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I feel like in San Diego, I had done pretty much everything I necessarily needed to do
Mm-hmm.
as a hip hop artist, somebody in my craft. I felt like I necessarily did everything I wanted to do, and I didn't want to move on to LA. Um, I just don't want to live in LA at all, and so
Yeah, LA was supposed to be my first choice when it came to relocating because I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. And
mm,
I moved out to Colorado September of last year. And it was kind of like a dartboard or a dart on a dartboard kind of thing. And a lot of
okay,
comics and podcasts I listened to, they were saying LA was getting really expensive. The homeless was getting out of control. And they were just like, it's getting bad. And then so they started talking about Denver and the comedy scene and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, let's just go to Denver. So I
right.
picked up and building the podcast, getting into comedy and whatnot. And Denver's a cool city. And I hope to see you out here sometime. I'd love to see you perform out here.
I want to come back. I really want to come back. I absolutely loved it out there. Um, when I was in Denver, because we were there for like a week, and
Mm-hmm.
so I was right before I moved to Vegas. I was contemplating moving to Denver. Denver was an absolutely beautiful city. It's green.
Mm-hmm.
If the weather's nice, oh my God,
It's
I
dry.
absolutely love it there.
It's dry. The
Yeah.
weather is it's very dry compared to Cincinnati, Ohio. Like you would walk in and just you'd walk outside and just start sweating like crazy. How's the weather out in
Oh wow,
Vegas?
the worst ever.
Like
I
what?
think. Let me look at. It's 100. It's 107 degrees right now.
Wow. Like oof. Even for
Yeah.
is it dry though? Like no humidity or anything like that?
Ordinarily, maybe this year there's been a lot more humidity than ordinarily.
Mm-hmm.
But ordinarily, no, it's extremely dry out here. Like you don't even want to light up outside because you're afraid your whole face will just burn up.
Ooh.
It's yeah, it's terribly dry out here. But this year it's been pretty humid. It's a little different. El Nino's around though, I think,
Mm-hmm. I
and
mean,
so it's bring
107 is still 107 though.
it is it is. In the shade right now, I would say it feels like 80, 85.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
Yeah,
not
no, no.
bad.
You get a breeze in the shade, it feels really good. But if you step in the sunlight, you're gonna burn. It's hot.
Oof. Oof.
It's hot. That's
So
not even the high though. It was last Sunday. I got to 117.
what?
Yeah, yeah,
117. Good
yeah,
lord.
yeah.
Good lord. Ooh.
It's crazy
Ooh.
out here.
I bet, man. So, getting back to the music and all that kind of stuff, when do you feel like that you want to get out and start reaching out to like? Let me ask this: if you want to collab with somebody,
Uh
how would you go about doing that? Would you reach out to them? Would you reach out to a management company or anything like that?
huh. No, no. Whoever I have to reach out to, honestly. Like I like to reach out to people directly. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Some people go against it. Some people say you're not supposed to. I feel that's how you build rapport. I feel that's how you
Mm-hmm.
build. And so I like to reach out to people directly. If I have to reach out to a manager, that's when I start kind of thinking to myself a little bit, like, do I really want to obtain this? Because sometimes it's not genuine if you have to do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if I haven't had a conversation or anything like that prior to me doing this, 9 times out of 10, I will not reach out to a manager or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just I'll probably say it's a no-go at that point, unless I'm really urged or inclined to reach out to this person. But I'm not afraid to talk to people. So if I can obtain people by just me talking to them, I try to.
That's awesome.
I
So,
try to.
who's a big artist now today that you would want to reach out to?
Man, it's funny you said that. There's this game I'm playing. I call it a game. It's really not a game at all. I met 50 Cent maybe last year. I met 50 last year. And so that's the guy I'm trying to reach out to. I've been, I the word in the industry is 50 reaches out to you when he wants to. You know, you don't reach out to 50. You
Mm-hmm.
don't contact 50. 50 contacts you. And so after meeting him, though, you know, I was able to, you know, give him a folder, introduce myself, try to tell him a little bit about what I do. We took some pictures, we talked a little bit. And so, you know, I still didn't feel I strengthened that enough. So I've been trying to strengthen that a little harder myself. And so that's the guy I'm trying to reach out to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
twice a week.
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
There
No,
you
no,
go.
I'm kidding. But I mean, I try to, you know, stay in contact with people in his camp or around his camp, or, you know, I try to make sure that people around him are aware of me, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
have an idea of who I am or where I'm around and things like that. Like I've been able to have like small conversations with people like Joseph Sikora online. That's Tommy from Power, and you know things like that. Method Man favorited something the other day or today actually, when I said something to him. So you know I try to stay talking to people around 50. And I've met Method Man by the way once or
Mm-hmm.
twice actually. He's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Any chance you'd want to work with him?
I definitely would love to work with Method Man.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely love to work with Method Man. I'm actually getting ready to. I'm trying to prepare myself to, I guess, fish for sponsorship from Method Man. He has Takal Athletics going on, and
Mm-hmm.
since I got this athletic thing going on right now with me being, you know, at Hardcore Fitness and things like that, I want to see if I can try to get Method Man to sponsor some workouts or some stuff we got going on with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, shouts out to
So
Method Man. I hope you hear this, man. Um, so in the next couple years, where do you see yourself?
in the next couple of years, I see myself slowing down a little bit with music, but not stopping. But just to man a seat at the table that I've been building.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a company, Good Neighbor LLC. That's
Mm-hmm.
my actual company, and so with Good Neighbor LLC, I want that to be an umbrella company
Mm-hmm.
for several smaller companies, such as Smoke Break Records. We have a boutique. We have a cleaning company. So I just really want to be manning that. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
really want to be manning my businesses, and I would like to have some younger artists uh, from Smoke Break Records have some music out and be carrying the torch.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I just want to be making sure that the businesses are bringing in profit and doing what they stand to do, and that's stand by people. That's why we're called Good Neighbor, because we want to stand by people. There's a lot of businesses out there who have lost sight of integrity and who have lost sight that this is for people, not just gain. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
go into business when you have services or goods because you have an idea that this is to help somebody, or this is for somebody, or this to change somebody's life, or this would do better, or somebody could do better if they had this. And so we have a lot of companies who have lost sight of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I aim to remind people that Good Neighbor is always going to be right by you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you take care of your customers. Like if you go that extra mile, that extra step, it comes back 10 or 100-fold every time. Every
I agree.
time.
I
So,
agree.
and then music wise, uh, where where do you want and where do you see your music career going? Like how do you want to
With
see it?
with my music career, I would just like to benefit uh, from the work that I have out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would like to start seeing things from that,
Mm-hmm.
more things rather, because it's not like I haven't seen any benefits or seen anything good from that. But I mean, my goal was to never be rich or famous. That's never been my goal. I never wanted to be like a Hollywood celebrity or anything like that. I've always said if it comes with the territory, I won't run away from it, but it's never been my goal. And so I'm not trying to be a Drake. I'm not trying to be a, you know, somebody who's you can't step out in the public somewhere and
Mm-hmm.
it's uncomfortable. You know, I just really want to see my music cherished. You
Mm-hmm.
know, before I pass away. I don't want it cherished after I pass away. I would like it cherished while I'm still alive to see people cherish it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good. That's a good site to have. Like with building this podcast and getting it out there. Like I'd like to have the same thing. You know, I'm sure all of us are want to have that. Oh my God, Pedalay the boss is in town. Let's go see him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that'd definitely be cool, man. Because I'd like to see that for you. Sitting here talking to you and listening to your music. I mean, great music, great music,
Thank you, brother.
and
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
it's been fun listening to it. And every time I listen to a new song, there's this new little twist that I hear to a beat or a lyric, and I'm like, oh my God, that is genius. A lot of
Thank you.
genius, a lot of
Thank you.
genius in it. And probably getting back to earlier time in your life, when did you hit that creative breakthrough? Like sitting down and actually writing and rhyming. When did that creative breakthrough hit for you?
You ready? After my first you taking off. All right. See you later. So my the creativity came from I had three buddies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The producer who I mentioned to you for the mixtape that we're discussing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has other two producer friends, and so they're the ones who basically took me and they sat me down and they said, "You know what you're going to do today? You're going to eat mushrooms." And so,
Damn good way to break through that creativity barrier.
yeah,
Damn good
yeah,
way.
they did the best way possible, right? They opened my mind all the way up, and since that day, my mind has been open and receptive to life.
Mm-hmm.
and and I honestly say before I indulged into psychedelics, I was more of a stereotypical rapper. There's guns, there's nonsense, just nonsense, this shit that was not gonna get me anywhere, and for no reason. But this is the environment I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
And so once once I indulged into psychedelics, though, no more. I became a lyricist. I
Mm-hmm.
became a lyricist. Like you said, I started trying to find the genius routes in writing. I tried to figure out how I can entice an audience with words,
Mm-hmm. Bring them in and
and it
grab them.
just right.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all thanks to the good old Mario brother power.
Never heard it called that, but I'm gonna use that now.
That's what it is.
So, on average, like daily or weekly or monthly, how many songs do you write, or how many lyrics do you write?
I like the way you put that because I write an onslaught of lyrics, and they may not turn into songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they may just be ideas. And I recently heard somebody say, who was it? It was Jermaine Dupri. Don't sit on your ideas, act on your ideas. And so maybe I'm going to start writing a little bit more, but I always write something in my head. I always have a jingle. I always have a hook. I have something. Sometimes I'll be like, for example, like I'll write something in my head and I'll be like, I bet 50 will love that if he heard that. Or, for an example, like, or, I wonder if, Method Man could say that, that's just an example. But sometimes I write lyrics for other artists in my head. And, so I always have lyrics. Song wise, I don't write songs until I have inspiration to write a song.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between writing lyrics and inspiration to write a song is I don't like with songs, I don't like to be told what to do when I write a song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And right now the industry is trying to tell people what to do. The industry is trying to tell you how to write a song. And I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that because I'm so outside of the box, because I have to be witty, I have to be charismatic, I have to be kind of a character. I don't like being told you have to write this kind of song. It has to be this long. It has to be about this. And no, I don't like that. And so I may not write songs right now, or I may not write multiple songs in a month, but that's because the inspiration to write a song isn't there. But I'm still writing lyrics at all times.
Mm-hmm. Do you carry a little notebook around with you, or put it on your phone or something like that?
No, I don't. I don't know how or why, but I can retain a lot in my mind. I'm really good with numbers, and I think that's what it is. I'm a numerical person, and because I can retain numbers very well in my mind, I can retain words in my mind very well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I forget who said it, but once I learned that if you repeat something out loud 14 times, it sticks in your brain. And
Hmm.
so that's how I've been ever since I heard that. And then there was a song too. Jay-Z came out with a song, Lyrical Exercise on the Blueprint. It was a hidden song. You only heard that song if you didn't turn the album off. After the last song went off, there were two hidden songs. There was a Girls, Girls, Girls remix,
Hmm.
and then there was Lyrical Exercise. And they play one after another, but you can't skip to them. You have to let the last song play. And
Hmm.
so once I heard Lyrical Exercise, that's when I stopped writing, because there's a story he tells at the beginning of that song about how he was walking home and he had these lyrics in his head, but he didn't have a pen or paper to write them down. So he just kept repeating the lines until he got home. And he said it became a lyrical exercise. And I said, you know what? That's how I'm writing from now on. So
Hmm.
that's how I write. I have a notepad in my head. I write in cursive in my head. I literally I see the words. They're in cursive. Um, but I don't write physically though.
Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. That's so. And another question upon that: how long does it take you to get it from your head to either a piece of paper or on track?
Oh, very, very easy, very fast.
Hmm.
Because the way I'm writing it is the way I'm reciting it.
Hmm.
So I'm not just writing it, but I'm saying it the exact way it would come out onto the microphone.
Hmm.
And so once I have it down pat, I go record. No punch-ins, by the way. See, this is where in that story I just told. See, two artists who don't write, Lil Wayne and Jay Z. Right? Jay Z will come into the studio sometimes and have things in his head, and then he'll come into the studio. I'm told he'll come into the studio, he'll record, and then he'll kind of stop, and then he'll kind of come back and punch in, finish the bar. Little Wayne will come in. Little Wayne won't write at all. He
He just
raps a
walks in
little
and
bit.
just he'll just run for what, half hour, and then just pick things out from that, right?
He
Yeah.
does. But he'll record. He'll stop, listen, and he'll finish from there. And then
Hmm.
he'll stop. He has a very long recording process where it's like, man, can you just write this song already? Why we gotta keep stopping it for you to write extra bars? And so I don't do that. I don't do none of that. I have the entire song, the entire verse in my head when I step in front of the microphone and I record. Now, of course, I'll
Hmm.
mess up a few times, but the song is there though. The lyrics are there in my head. And so from there, I even cater to it. I'll adjust it a bit, because it's very important to me to not use the same word more than once while I'm writing with no pen or paper. I'm trying to show how extensive my vocabulary could be.
So when you're
Um,
saying don't use one word more than once, like is it the word the or the word I don't know, marijuana, or well, you're gonna have to, yeah, marijuana, yeah.
no, that's a good question. Sometimes it'd be like the word the, for example. But that's when I'm being very critical. Sometimes it's just like a rhymer word. Like I don't want to rhyme the same word with the same word. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
doing that. And so, for placeholder purposes, sometimes I'll say the same word. But once I start, stepping into the microphone and getting ready to lay it down, I immediately start replacing words. I start taking words out and, putting new vocabulary words into place. So I'm not saying the same word multiple times.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool, man. Like it's very interesting to hear that, because it's, for me, like if I write a joke or something like that, I'll write a simple sentence and then build off that. But I do have a notebook, and it's very cool to hear that you do it all from your mind, and fascinating actually, because I would love to get to that point of doing it.
It was a task at first.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. There were things that I had to eliminate at first. Nowadays, I can literally I can do it while watching TV and talking to you. But
So what
in the
kind of things
past,
did you have to eliminate?
at first, I couldn't be smoking while writing.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be drinking while writing. I would have to be in a corner, like literally, like in a corner, like turned
Mm-hmm.
to myself and only seeing the wall so that I can focus on the words. This is before I found out about the 14 time repetitiveness. I would cut out talking to people. You can't talk to me right now. I'm writing. Leave me alone. Things like that. And so nowadays, no, I like I said, I can watch TV, smoke a blunt, do it all and still write these lyrics at the same time, have it all retained and still ready to go when it's time to record.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Very cool and interesting, man. And
Thank you.
it's very cool to hear how you do that. I'm very excited to hear what you come out with next. Very excited to hear it. And
Thank you.
These next couple days, I still want to finish out all your albums and all that kind of stuff, because as soon as I heard the Marijuana remix, instantly hooked.
Man, thank you,
So,
brother. And I appreciate you saying that. That's actually my absolute favorite song right now.
mm-hmm.
I that is my absolute favorite song. Nobody ever talks about marijuana. Everybody always says like the slang or they got a different word, but nobody in music, there's never been the word marijuana used in a song. And so I really was like, oh, that has to be done. It has to be repeated. It has to be repeated.
It was a damn good song. Damn good song.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So when it comes to music, how do you feel about the way music is going today? Because what I hear when I hear a new song or something on the radio, it sounds like a different song I've already heard. You know what I mean?
I do. I see what you're saying. They are doing a lot of remixes to older songs these days. They are.
Are they running out of ideas like the movie scene? Like they just keep rehashing
like
shit. Yeah.
It feels like it. It feels like it. I don't particularly like new artists. Sometimes it takes me a suggestion or a recommendation to get turned on to a new artist. I can't just like the new artist just because we're being force fed their music or anything like that. It'd take like my little brother to be like, "Oh, you're not listening to that?" I'm like, well, you are. Well, let me see what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Or
like,
something.
Let me check it out.
Right. It's hard for me to just grasp new artists nowadays. With the remixes to the older music, if it sounds good, my ear will catch it.
That's how I am with music. Like it really has to hit the ear, and it has to really hit the ear and sound really good. I get really picky with music because if I hear a remix to a song or if I hear someone rehashing it, and it's just like, ugh, why'd you do that? But then other ones, I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Right. There have been those couple that I've heard. I'm like, wow, they did a good job with that. But then there's some like, why did they do that? Why did they do that?
Yeah, like so, what were they thinking?
But ultimately, though, and I heard Ice-T say this. Have a wonderful day. I heard Ice-T say this. Music is subjective. Music is subjective, and so who am I to say what's good and what's not? You know, it's all to the listener.
That's very true. There's one song, "Voodoo Child" by Jimi Hendrix. Stevie Ray
Have a good day.
Stevie Ray Vaughan redid it on One Night in Texas, and killed it. He absolutely killed it. And then I hear another guy redo it, and it's just like, oof. And to go back to that, yes, it is very subjective. Music is very subjective. Now, when
it's all on the ear.
It is. Now, when it comes to music, what genres do you like? Like, do you like? Could you go with the Ariana Grande, or could you go to a Metallica, or could you go to reggae?
I absolutely love all the above. Because I do run the record label, my ear is more open and closed. Believe it or not, I'm a big fan of pop music. It's hard to deny pop music, honestly. I mean, it's popular music. You know? It's what we hear all day, every day. It doesn't matter what the scenario is, the movie, the cartoon. We hear popular music all the time, and so sometimes we don't even have a choice but to accept it. And so that's kind of where my ear goes toward popular music. As long as it sounds good and it doesn't sound too corny, I'll vibe with it a little bit. I really like Dua Lipa.
Me too. She's
really
a great artist.
Amazing artist.
Yeah.
You know, she has a great voice. She can dance. She's very talented. She's beautiful. She's an amazing artist.
That song "Levitate" gets me every time. As soon as I hear it, it's like I got to listen to this all the way through, and then I'll hit rewind a couple times.
Man, Man, the song that she remade with Elton John is one of my favorites right now. It's just so good. It's an original Elton John song, but it's her singing all of the lyrics all over again,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just really good. Her voice. It's her voice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I predicted she was gonna be big. I predicted she was gonna be big. Doja Cat, and a long time ago, believe it or not, I predicted Rihanna was gonna be a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Just because my ear is open to pop music. And so, like Rihanna or Doja Cat, when they first had their first only single that was out,
Mm-hmm.
I heard it. I heard it. I heard it. I was like, dang, that girl's gonna be big. And look at Rihanna nowadays.
Now with Doja Cat, she redid her song "Say So," but like as a metal cover, and it
Oh,
was really good. It was really good.
and she's the one that redid it, huh?
Yeah, she did it for I think it was an MTV performance. Really
Okay.
good. Check that out if you
I
get a
got
chance.
I gotta
Um,
check that out. I really like Doja Cat. She's talented as well. That girl's weird, but
uh,
she's really talented.
it's I guess she's just trying to express herself. You know what I mean?
I know. I totally dig it actually. Like
I
I don't mean that. Yeah, I don't mean that weird
It's
in a bad way.
different.
I just mean
It's
it's
different.
super different.
And I do like that as well, with her being different and like, well, she's not normally just doing the same old thing. She's doing different things, and that's what I like.
The funny thing is, I have buddies that have that kind of humor,
Yeah.
like guys, and so I'm used to it from guys. And so to see her being a female, but with that type of humor, it just gets me. I'm on the floor every time.
She is a very different and very good artist. I do like her. Do you
I
like
agree.
covers? Like rock covers or reggae covers or anything like that? If
It
it hits the ear
depends.
good?
Not even that. It some bands shouldn't do covers.
Mm-hmm.
Some bands shouldn't cover some certain things at times. And so, especially like being from San Diego, you have bands a lot of times that want to try to cover uh, a lot of reggae music,
Mm-hmm.
and they shouldn't. It, and they
Why even
shouldn't.
trying? Like,
Right,
yeah,
right. Like, why are you doing that?
yeah.
That's so disrespectful to the song.
Mm-hmm.
I know you like the song. I like the song, but don't do that to the song. And so that's what I mean. I like covers if they're done right. My girl has this one cover of this Eminem song, the Monster Under the Bed song, but it's nobody we know at all. But she loves this song. I'm like, where are you listening? This sounds so weird. She's like, sounds good to me. I'm like, whatever.
Is it a reggae cover?
It's it's not a reggae cover. It's just a horrible pop cover.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
horrible pop cover. It's not the girl singing it doesn't sound like Rihanna. It's weird what they did to Eminem's vocals on it. It's they're singing the rap instead of. It's just weird. It's super weird.
It's one of those like don't even go try and find it.
Don't
Okay.
don't. Oh man,
That's funny.
it's
And
horrible.
and but to the credit to some bands, they can pull it off too. Like I'm a big fan of metal covers, and there's a
Okay,
few people out there like Lauren Babick and the band Halosense. They do really good covers of songs.
okay. I've never heard any of these bands actually.
Hmm. If you're cruising through YouTube, just check them out. They're pretty good. I'll send you a few
Okay,
links actually. Um,
yeah.
Now, when someone comes up, has anyone ever come up to you and say, "Hey, I really like this song. Can I try and cover it in this form?" Like cover it as a rock song or a pop song or a reggae song.
No,
And
there's
how
one
would you
song I
feel
really
about
wish.
that?
I'd probably be honored, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely probably wouldn't say no. I couldn't say no to somebody who would like to recreate something that they like of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a song I have called Voices. I would love somebody to cover,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody's ever asked me that. That would be amazing if somebody did.
Mm-hmm. Who? What genre would you see that song being covered in, or what genre would you like to see that song being covered in?
It's already kind of an alternative song anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so I would like it to be just a little heavier. just a little heavier,
Mm-hmm.
a little metal, more metal, a little
Mm-hmm.
heavier with that.
So what metal bands do you like?
Hmm. I don't know if they're necessarily classified as metal bands. No, no, I do like some metal bands. I like my Sugar. Um, who else do I like? Um, I can't even think of anybody right now besides my Sugar as far as metal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I love rock in general. I mean, I'm a big System fan, Stone Temple Pilots, obviously Linkin Park, um,
System
the
of a
Red Hot
Down.
Chili
I
Peppers.
would love System of a Down to come out with a new album.
Man, all right, Brian. I would love for them to come out with a new album as well, but I don't know what's going on with them. I think one of the guys got hurt a little while ago, like a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what's going on with those gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you like the Mesmerized and Hypnotized album, or do you like their older stuff?
I did like Mesmerized, but I'm a big Toxicity type of person. Like I like their
Yeah,
older stuff. Yeah, I
yeah.
like their older stuff.
Chop Suey.
Um, right, exactly. Oh my God, Chop Suey is one of the best songs ever, man,
Mm-hmm.
ever.
That drum
It's
intro is spectacular too. Love that drum
that
intro.
whole album is beyond ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's produced very well. It it just takes you to a place where I never thought I'd be. I want to say I was like 17 when I heard that album, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like a girlfriend's brother picking me up in the car, and he was listening to it really loud, and I was like, I love that.
Like turn it up higher.
I love that. So
Do you like Metallica? We'll go with
yeah,
the
of course.
classic. Yeah.
Yeah, of course,
What
definitely.
have you drawn any inspiration from like those kind of bands?
Uh, I draw inspiration from them. I don't make music that way,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely draw music from them. I actually listen to more rock music than I listen to rap music at the moment. Probably majority of the day. Depends. Like I don't just listen to rap music at all. I barely listen to rap music throughout my day. Honestly, like, I'll probably listen to a classic because I like to put my sons on classic hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably take them to a classic album or two throughout the day. We run Smoke Break Radio, which is a Apple Music playlist. So throughout places that I'm at, that's playing all the time, and so I hear rap that way by independent artists. But I very rarely am listening to a lot of rap music these days. I'm listening to a lot of rock or
Mm-hmm.
reggae for sure. Um, it just depends on how I'm feeling when I wake up and how I'm projecting the day to be.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you would ever create a hard rock album or a reggae album or even a pop album?
Uh, probably probably not. But if the collaboration came about, then yes,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm willing to. I would definitely love to collaborate with a rock band or a rock artist. Pop album. I don't know if I put out a pop album, maybe a pop song, a couple pop tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, reggae, I'll do some reggae with some artists. But with reggae, I feel like I'm not really. I love reggae music, and I love how reggae music sounds. What's up, brother? Good to see you. I love how reggae music is, and I like to say I'm into the culture, but I'm not up on reggae culture to the maximum. So, and that's why I say like sometimes when people disrespect by remaking reggae music, I'm I'm not really into to the reggae lifestyle or the Rasta lifestyle. So I don't want to offend by doing Rasta music or reggae music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that's a whole different type of thing to me. Like people who look up to Jah, and they got things that they live a certain way, and I don't want to disrespect, step on toes, anything like that, just because I want to make some music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. So, I don't want to take up any more of your time, man. We've been on here for an hour. Where can we find you at?
Man, Pedalay.com. That's my website.
Okay.
I try to float around all the social medias though. I try to engage. Because I try to prove to people you can still be a regular person while chasing these dreams. You don't have to be a pretend celebrity. You don't have to be somebody untrue, or so, you don't have to be an asshole to people. You don't have to pretend like you didn't read 9 messages and you didn't know. I try to show people you can really be a real person and
Mm-hmm.
still chase your dreams. So I mean, I'm on all the social networks minus all the new ones. The new ones that just recently came out. I don't have time
Yeah.
to create to
Threads.
create that, but
That one kind of
yeah,
died. That one kind of like everybody blew up about it, and then it died in like 10 minutes. Like you don't
exactly.
hear anything more about Threads.
And I don't want to hear any more about that.
Yeah, I don't. I don't
I'm,
either.
I'm a Twitter advocate. I love
Yeah.
Twitter. I'm a Twitter advocate, man. I'm an X. It's called X now. I forgot.
Yeah, it is
It's called
getting
X.
rebranded as X.
Right. I'm an X advocate. But no, Pedalay.com, smokebreakrecords.com.
Okay.
Those are our main hubs.
I'll definitely link it in the show notes for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everything, man. It's been an amazing time talking with you. I hope we get to build more from just this.
Thank you, and same to you, man. And thank you for coming on to the podcast. And I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what's next, and hopefully see you again.
My brother, definitely. You got a friend in me.
Same here, man. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you very much.
See you.
Bye bye.
Place where the sand meets the sea. For your worries, they will fade when you sleep under the shade of the marvelous cannabis tree. And if you really wanna come too. I got seeds just for me and you, and they can grow from the love we found. So don't come alone. And if you really wanna come find me, I'm in the garden and I'm finally free. And we can grow from the love we found, so don't come alone. I gotta find this place, gotta get away. I can see myself spending all my days, wasting all my time lying in the shade with you. Come away for a year and a day to a place where the sand meets the sea.